And now, Jeff Fleming, Chair of the Rotary Person of the Year Committee, will begin our program for today.
Sorry, Jeff, you're on mute.
Sorry, you with me now? Thank you, President Steve. I've got a wonderful assignment in this Rotary Club, leading the Rotary Person of the Year Committee. We have a great group of committee members and the pleasant annual task of selecting our Person of the Year. Our choice this year, Milwaukee City Librarian Paula Kiely, rose to the top of a list of highly accomplished candidates. As you'll hear shortly, her innovation, her imagination, her leadership, and her commitment to her work makes Paula a remarkable selection. Our Rotary Club confers no higher honor than the Rotary Person of the Year Award. Annually, we recognize a local individual who has distinguished herself or himself through professional accomplishments. Unlike other awards based on heroism or longevity or philanthropic achievements, the Rotary Person of the Year honors leaders who, through their professions, have a significant impact on our region. I want to thank my fellow committee members and the club member who nominated Paula. We all agree this year's winner has earned this accolade. To introduce Paula, I'll hand the screen over to club member Ryan Daniels of the Milwaukee Public Library Foundation.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate it. It is my honor on behalf of the Milwaukee Board of Trustees, as well as the Milwaukee Public Library Foundation Board of Directors, to nominate Paula Kiely, the city librarian, as the Rotary Person of the Year. Paula joined MPL in 1995 and went on to be selected by Mayor Barrett as the city librarian in 2006. You're about to hear a number of accomplishments from a number of people. However, I want to share that in 2014, Paula recruited me. She recruited me to the job at a coffee shop downtown and really shared with me a phenomenal strategic plan. It was a strategic plan called MPL 2020, and it was based on that vision that really made me want to become a part of this effort. It became clear to me that we had community resource hubs strategically located throughout the community, and by providing more programming, more resources, and 21st century facilities, that we were going to be able to have a significant impact on the city of Milwaukee. Paula, in one of our meetings one time, said, one of the reasons why I accepted the job is that I knew that I could make a difference and I was the right person for the job. Well, Paula, so many people agree with you. This is one of many awards that I know you have received, but I just want to share two more statements that I think will be helpful to frame this discussion. The first is that 2 years ago, Paula and MPL was chosen by the White House as a select group of folks to help the country lead a Connect Education Library Challenge. It is under this that every single MPS student now has access to a program called Library Now, and they all have a library card and are able to access all of our digital services, particularly in this environment where it's not safe for us to come together. The children of our city are still able to access all of the library services with their Library Now card. And it was thanks to that selection that we were able to bring that to all of the kids in Milwaukee. Now, before I wax on, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I end on many librarians can be said to look backwards as historians and keepers of knowledge. Paula is one of those rare librarians that both continues our knowledge and keeps that safe, but also looks to the future and makes sure that we all have the resources that we need and that we're able to pivot and have community impact going forward. So who else would I talk to than John Gerda, who shared the following quote: "As a Milwaukee Public Library trustee for 25 years, I've worked closely with Paula Kiely. Under Paula's leadership, not only did the Milwaukee Public Library become the third most visited attraction in the city of Milwaukee, Yes, you heard me right. We're behind Potawatomi and the Milwaukee Brewers as the third most visited attraction. Obviously, in COVID times, things are changing, but you can still access all of the digital services there, and many people are. Under Paula's leadership, we have one accomplishment after another, including a mixed-use model for new branches. We have those in Villard, East, Mitchell Street, and soon to be Good Hope. We launched the digital library card. We provide new services and technologies, and in fact launched the first express branch in the Northern Hemisphere, which is a 24-hour branch that is located right over in the West Lawn neighborhood. In addition, under Paula's leadership, we've transitioned from more than just books to over 6,000 programs. And it is her vision and capable execution, as well as all of her team members and all of our volunteers that help make this happen. But it would not happen without Paula's leadership, credibility, and exceptional execution. Paula, it was my honor to nominate you, and now I'd like to go to the videotape.
Well, when I look at the criteria for a Rotarian to be awarded this, it's got to be somebody that helps to build, somebody who helps to employ, and somebody who helps to have an economic impact. And when I think about that criteria, I think about Paula.
I am so pleased to hear that Paula Kiely has been named the Rotary Person of the Year, and I cannot think of a more deserving person. The work that she has done for the Milwaukee Public Libraries has been transformational.
She is one of the hardest working, dedicated, and tireless leaders that I know.
Her leadership style has always been one that exudes an equitable, fair, and humane way in which to provide literacy and social services to all that walk through the doors of our libraries.
This library and the 12 branches are the most democratic institutions I can imagine. They open a world of knowledge, information, entertainment to all of us, and Paula is the one who's been at the helm since 2006.
Paula is willing to work with anybody. And I saw this firsthand as a library board trustee. And Paula gets along with and works with every single person and tries to make sure that everybody's best qualities are brought to bear in service to the community and service to the library. And I know that she's doing the same thing with all of her staff throughout the entire system.
She has led our library and our team and our entire community with the quest for education and literacy for everyone.
Paula fell in love with libraries when she was a child, going to Tippecanoe Library. And her passion has always been innovation, changing the libraries to make them relevant to the people who live in our community today.
Under Paula's leadership, the library has really moved in very new directions. She pioneers the mixed-use model, which is branch libraries partnered with developers who put up housing, and that's become kind of a national model. People will come here to find out how it's done.
She has worked to ensure that branches, particularly those in underserved areas, had access to full technology. We have partnered on several projects, including the construction of new branch libraries, one of which is the new Good Hope Library. Her tenacity and her grit is the backbone of what gets these jobs completed. Her legacy will be the hundreds of young people who will have a continuous way to increase their literacy skills and an exploration of the world.
I got 2 daughters myself, and I read to them every single day. And Paula extends what happens at home out into our community. The investment that she has made in the direction that the library has gone in terms of investing in our kids, those will reap benefits for our city for years and years to come.
So to Paula, I say thank you. To the Rotary Club, I say thank you for recognizing a person who deserves this because of her love for this community and libraries.
Congratulations, Paula, on a great honor. You earned it, my friend.
We are so proud to have you, and thank you for helping us grow our city of Milwaukee.
From a grateful community and from her grateful friend, Thank you, Paula, for your service.
I'm so happy for you. I'm proud of you. I'm glad to know you. Congratulations to you. Great work, Paula.
What a great tribute, Paula. You obviously have a lot of friends. There was also a great article in this morning's Journal Sentinel if anyone wants more information. While we can't get together in person to give you your award, Paula, I look forward to presenting to you very soon. Congratulations again, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you, President Steve. Thank you, Ryan, Jeff, the Rotary Committee, and all of you in Rotary. This has just been a tremendous honor for me, and what a wonderful tribute all of your words have. You know, it's true that being recognized by one's friends and colleagues truly is the most meaningful recognition of all, and I certainly feel the significance of that today, and have ever since Jeff called me to tell me about the award. When he told me I'd been selected, I had a lot of mixed emotions. I think I used the word tickled quite a few times, but I was truly delighted, a little bit in disbelief, very happy, and felt a lot of humility as well. I have one of those jobs in which the work itself actually really provides the personal rewards. And that comes from the impact that the library does have on the community. So I'm thankful for the personal recognition, but I'm also thankful for the recognition of the work of the library, because everything that I've accomplished is because of the work of the people that I work with and who have helped me along the way. I want to thank again the Rotary and the selection committee, Ryan and Pat Swanson for writing the nomination. Mayor Barrett, I'd like to thank him for supporting me and putting his trust in me 14 years ago, and to my many advisors, one of whom you've heard from earlier this afternoon, Kate Houston, who I worked so closely with for many, many years and continues to advise me. And I also want to just thank my dear husband, Jim, who is my harshest critic, but also my greatest supporter. And of course, my colleagues at MPL, the library board, and the staff. So it's true, I have been with MPL for 25 years and director for over half of those years. And it's also true that I grew up in Milwaukee on the south side. And I'm going to show you a few slides now. Let's see. Oops, oops, oops. I thought I had this down. Here we go. There we go. All right. So this was my library as a young girl. It's the Tippecanoe branch, and I could actually draw you a floor plan and an elevation of this building if I tried. It is so imprinted on my memory. And what I'd like to do today is talk about some of the work that we're doing to help the community, and then I believe we'll have time for questions. So the best place, I believe, to start to tell our story is with our mission, which is to help people read, learn, and connect, with our vision of being an anchor institution which helps build healthy families and vibrant neighborhoods, which is the foundation of a strong Milwaukee. It's been my opinion for over 50 years that if you can read, you can do anything. That reading is in fact the most important skill that we teach our children. And all of you know that it's the adults in a child's life who make that happen. And the sooner we read to our babies and give them books to handle and play with and make them feel loved while you're sharing those books, the greater the chances that that child is going to grow up learning to read, loving to read, and really embracing reading as a part of life. And that's why we invest so many of our resources in youth, and in particular in early literacy. our Books to Go program, our Ready to Read program, direct our attention to childcare providers who really are raising so many of our children. And we do that by building relationships with those teachers, building trust with them, and then helping them to build the skills that they need and their confidence in creating language-rich environments for the children that they care for. Summer reading is a big part of our literacy program. It's going on now, and summer reading encourages children to read anything that they want to. No assigned readings here. It's whatever they are interested in. And of course, we have books and other resources in lots of formats. And you're going to see a lot of technology in my slides today, but I want to assure you that we have over 1 million books in the collection, and those books happen to be more popular than anything else we offer. So reading is so important for kids because so much of their future learning is really predicated on their being able to read. But we also know that learning happens in a lot of different ways. It helps with the support of adults. So we bring certified teachers into the libraries after school to help kids with their homework and to help parents navigate the school system. We serve about 9,000 children a year. And the greatest thing about this program is that when we ask the kids who participate how they feel about their homework, 100% of them say that they feel better about doing their homework and their grades are beginning to show it. So we just love this program. There's an electronic version of Teacher in the Library, and it's called BrainFuse. Kids who are able to connect online can actually reach out to teachers who are available after school. And at other times, there are tutorials and lessons that are available for kids to practice and improve their skills. And BrainFuse and other e-resources are part of our program called Library Now, which Ryan mentioned. And this was a partnership between Mayor Barrett, then Superintendent Driver, and now Superintendent Posley, and myself. And the program was actually an agreement to share data between the library and the school district. And we were able to set up library accounts for every student in MPS. So when we flipped the switch and ran the data, nearly 70,000 students suddenly had access to the library. And we are slowly working on bringing charter and choice schools into the fold. And because we know that unfortunately, not all students who start high school finish high school, with the help of our foundation and private donations, we are now offering scholarships to city residents for something called Career Online High School. People can actually earn an accredited high school diploma through this program, and I'm happy to announce that we have our first student who is ready to graduate. Her name is Ms. Jackson. She left school when she was in the 10th grade. She's currently a grandparent and told us she wanted to set an example for her family and friends. So she has been studying to finish her high school diploma since March of last year, and she is ready to earn that diploma and a certificate in childcare and education. Congratulate Ms. Jackson. Connected Learning offers mostly teenagers, but not only teenagers, a different way to learn, and that is through technology. I've worked with teenagers for most of my library career, and I think if you have teenagers or had them, you know that they're a very tough audience. But technology has really been a turning point for us, and it tends to draw the kids into the library. And thanks to Northwestern Mutual Foundation, we opened Studio M, and you can see part of Studio M on the top 2 slides. This is a makerspace that is focused on music and the creative arts. You see our sound booth, and there's a lot of editing equipment. And the students have access to this on weekends and also after school. As part of it, we developed an internship program with the support of the city, and we recruited students who learned about how to use the technology and then taught their peers how to use the same equipment. I've seen the students go through this internship, and the difference in their confidence, their ability to present before an adult audience, and their leadership skills has really just been remarkable. And In addition to the teen program, people of all ages are taking advantage of learning through a culinary literacy program that we offer here at Mitchell Street in our Cargill Community Kitchen. So not only do families have a chance to taste and sample healthy foods, but reading, math, and science are a part of the quick lessons and classes that they take. And the last piece of our mission is to connect. And yes, of course, I mean connect to the internet, but I also mean connecting people to resources and other people, frankly. All of our buildings have high-speed broadband and Wi-Fi. Computers and laptops are available, and we offer classes on how to use that equipment. We're contributing to workforce development through these classes and also by helping people to locate and apply for jobs and to prepare for those jobs. We help with resumes and then also connecting to jobs through job fairs. We have job fairs that feature adult employers for adults, but also for teenagers. And I can tell you, this has been a really successful program for us. Teens tell us what they really want is they want a job. So we want to help them. And connecting to the internet during the pandemic has really been a problem for some families. And so in response, we added about 150 hotspots to our collection, and those are being made available to MPS families. And I do want to mention that I'm coming to you from an MPL hotspot. Here it is, and this is really high speed, and it's better than the internet I had, and it's much more reliable. So if you know someone who's in need of internet, please have them contact the library. And then finally, I want to just mention that in this connecting, we also are connecting with our community through civic engagement. We do a lot of work with the Election Commission. We help people register to vote. We serve as early voting sites. We are election day voting sites. We've become drop-off locations for absentee ballots. And we provide hundreds of hours of staff volunteer time throughout the election process. But I do think that one of the most visible accomplishments that we've achieved over the last, I guess 14, 13 years has really been our branch redevelopment program. What you're seeing is the inside of the Mill Road Library, and this is the computer section. Much needed in the community on the Northwest Side building, a building that was considered avant-garde when it was built in the late 1960s, early 70s. In fact, it is a round library. And if any of you are interested in architectural history, I think you'll agree with me that building in the round is not always a good idea. So shortly after I became city librarian, we started working on plans to replace these old libraries. And a mixed use model actually did come forward, and as Ryan mentioned this. And what that is it involves a development partner who helps the library and the library board and the city with the overall project. It's usually an RFP process. And we contract with the developer to provide most of the services for building the outside shell and designing the outside shell. Each deal is different, but they're all based on condominiums. So the library space is a condominium, and the apartments, which are above the library, the entire envelope of apartments is a second condominium. Some of the projects include market rate housing, but others are mixed or low income housing. And tax credits are used whenever possible. And since we've started this, we have made use of federal new markets tax credits, low income tax credits, and historic preservation tax credits. And in one case, we actually formed a new LLC to hold the condominium, and so that we could apply for the new markets tax credits. Needless to say, this has been quite an education. So the first library, and this is, I think, a very great example of what the old comparison. So I'm just going to go back up. So here's what the libraries used to look like. here's what the libraries are starting to look like. So this is Villard Square. There are 47 apartments above this library that are marketed to grandparents who are raising their grandchildren. This project was done with Gorman and Company, the Northwest Side CDC, and the Redevelopment Authority of Milwaukee. It employed New Markets tax credits and low-income tax credits. This is the MPL East Branch. The library again is on the first floor. The upstairs apartments include 99 really beautifully appointed one and two bedroom apartments. All the apartments are market rate, and this project was financed with commercial lending, so no tax credits on this deal. And we did this right at the end of the recession. Next is Mitchell Street. This is market rate housing on the upper floors. Again, we worked with Gorman and Company here. We used New Markets tax credits and historic preservation tax credits on this deal. And here's what the inside of that library looks like. Not everything we've done has been mixed use. This is my girlhood library, very different from the first slide that you saw earlier. And what we did was we actually took this building down to the studs and started over again. I think it continues to be one of my favorite libraries, and includes a really beautiful piece of sculpture right in the middle of the slide by Guido Brink. And that piece was designed specifically for this library. Our next library to be opened is the Good Hope branch. This is a slide I took just a few weeks ago. This is the new maker space that will be available, again, not just to teens, but we think teens will really enjoy this. And this was a project that was developed with Mars Development and Royal Capital. And there are 65 mixed income apartments as part of this development. Some of the apartments are actually designated for veterans, which we found to be a really exciting part of this project. And Ryan mentioned the MPL Express Library. It seems like ages ago that we installed this. There are very few libraries that have these. We are the only cold weather library system to have an express library. And in fact, this machine had to be outfitted with special heaters so that it wouldn't freeze up during the winter. Well, with all of these projects, we do believe we have a responsibility as environmental stewards to do what we can to really incorporate green technology. And what you're looking at is the green roof of Central Library. And this really started our work in this area. The roof was completed in 2009, and it also includes solar panels. At our branches, we've incorporated bioswales, rain gardens, permeable pavement, more solar panels. And this summer, 5 of the parking lots in our branch libraries will be completely torn up and redone to incorporate some of these features. Now, we don't do this alone. We don't do this all with city money. In fact, most of the money comes from grants, and we partner with the city's Environmental Collaboration Office, MMSD, and Focus on Energy, just to name a few of our partners. So we've been doing a lot of construction, a lot of projects. There are more things in the pipeline, including the replacement of the Martin Luther King and Capitol branches. We believe those will be mixed-use projects. And I've talked to the mayor about adding this Center Street Library to our list of projects. I don't see that as a mixed-use project, but more like a Tippecanoe project where we would take it down to its studs and rebuild it, but who knows. And we're working on other projects as well, including the Rotary Club of Milwaukee Community Room, which we believe will be finished in mid-August. We were so grateful to have a partnership with the Rotary Club to improve the single meeting room that we have at the Central Library that's open for free access to the community. I think when we did the presentation at Rotary, you saw a very dark and dingy room that looked like it was had been designed in the 1970s. And this shows you that we have at least punched out the windows. These are original windows from the original Central Library. So we look forward to finishing this project later this summer and inviting all of you to come in for ribbon cutting. And I want to just close by saying that really the foundation for all the work that we do in the library is our staff. Not only are the staff members like this librarian providing personalized professional assistance to help people with whatever question, whatever need they have when they walk in the door, it is the work of these people that allow me to do the things I need to do. So when we talk about library, it's not just the librarians, the custodians, it's the accountants, it's the catalogers, it's everybody. It's the foundation, it's our friends, it's our board. It really does take everybody to make this operation run. And I've been very, very proud to be a part of it for so many years. We preface our mission statement by saying that inspiration starts here at MPL, and I truly believe it. The library has been an inspiration for me since I was a girl. It continues to be an inspiration. The people I work with are an inspiration to me. And I hope I've given you just at least a little peek into the work that we do. Thank you so much for this honor. I can't tell you what it means to me. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Well, thank you, Paula. We certainly got a great overview of what you're working on in the all the things that you've accomplished and are still working on at the library. You're certainly keeping it very relevant to all of the work that we need to do and the learning that we need to do and bringing people together. Somebody is asking here, what's happening with Centennial Hall?
Oh, well, Centennial Hall actually didn't make the cut in my remarks, but it is a really fabulous place. So I don't remember what year it was. I'm going to guess it was in the 1920s, and Kate can correct me if I'm wrong, but Centennial Hall was actually an addition to the building when the museum and the library coexisted there. And we have a 700-seat auditorium, a relatively large meeting room, and then a modest-sized meeting room for more intimate events. We have done some upgrades of that space over the years. Right now, it is closed to the public, although we'll be starting some testing. And while we had hoped to renovate Centennial Hall and the auditorium in particular for the convention, what we came to realize is that we just didn't have the capacity to do it. So that project has been placed on temporary hold. We're focused on the community room on the first floor. And I think when we see the success of that room, we'll get back to looking at freshening up and improving Centennial Hall when we can.
Thank you. Okay. We've had a number of people in the last week or so talk about wanting to get Rotarians involved in voter registration and getting out the vote. Do you use volunteers in your voting efforts, and are you doing both registration and get out the vote, or how do you do that?
Well, mostly we're doing registration, and every library has a kiosk that was provided by the Election Commission. And we can do two things at that kiosk. So it's a designated station. You can register to vote, and you can also complete the US Census there. Now, with the buildings closed, we're not really getting any value out of that. But as things start to open up again, it would really be great to have volunteers in the libraries to direct people to those kiosks and help them. It's a really simple process to register. But I think people just, they come in with a focus and they don't always realize that this is an opportunity, and the staff don't always think about it. So I think that would be great to have Rotarians be ambassadors for the Election Commission and for the library and help people. I think it would do a lot of good.
Do you arrange for school visits in times that are not pandemic centered?
Oh, we do. It's sort of our bread and butter. In fact, my early work was with children, and I remember we put together a mailer that we sent to classrooms, to schools, and it was something about, it was a play on a children's picture book about spending a day at the library. And in any event, we had standard programs that we would offer. So we could do computer training, we could do presentations on research that the kids were working on. So if the class was working, say, on studying World War II, we could do a book talk on what was available. We could lead them through some online resources. So we had some sort of canned programs, but we always would accommodate what a teacher needed. So whatever is needed, we'll design a curriculum around it. We often are able to visit the classrooms too. And I think some of you know I've been involved in Rotary's RIF program for a number of years. And there's nothing like getting into a school to really connect with kids and have a better understanding of what is happening in the classroom. And that's what the experience of our librarians too. It's a little bit more difficult because over the years with sort of tightening of the budget, we don't have as much time as we used to, but definitely we want kids and teachers to come into the library as much as they can, and we try to get out to the schools as much as we can as well.
And what's on your summer reading list, Paula?
Oh, well, I don't think the reporter mentioned this, but I have admitted that I've been doing a little light reading, and because, so I've been ordering books through the library, but I'm actually a browser, so I like to go to the shelves and kind of look at what's there. So I went to my own shelves recently and pulled out The Count of Monte Cristo, which I've had on my shelf probably for 5 years. For some reason I bought it and never read it, so I'm reading that. I'm also have the latest copy of the Cream City Review, but I haven't put my reading list together. Someone sent me a reading list. I think it was some trade magazine. It came in today on email, and I decided not to delete it because I thought, well, I'm going to see what they recommend. But I will admit that I have a shelf full of library books, public library books. None of them are novels. They are almost all cookbooks. And so I will tell you, if you like to cook, you will find no better collection of cookbooks than a central library at MPL.
What a great idea. Well, I think that, Paula, what I see in the chat right now are just many warm wishes and lots of congratulations. Bill Sheehan says, thank you so much for your great work on the Rotary RIF program. It's been an honor to be part of this program at View School. And I would just put in a pitch again for anybody who's listening to this program. We're always looking for volunteers to go into the schools. Congratulations from Tom Gale, and thank you to the committee who selected this very deserving Paula Kiely to be our Rotary Person of the Year. Well done, team. From Joan Prince, I love you dearly, and we're lucky to have you in this community. Karen Hung says we're thrilled to know you, and such a well-deserved honor. And I've got a couple more messages down here. I will try to save this chat for you, Paula, because we're going to have to wrap up here. But Ginny Finn says, Paula, MPL and all of us are lucky to have your commitment. And Francis Vogel says, kudos on your richly deserved award. You are an inspiration to all. So thank you again, Paula. And I'm going to turn this back over to President Steve.
Thank you, Mary. And thank you again, Paula. It's an honor well deserved. And it dawned on me as you were talking about your work at the library, you're a great executive director of a library, but you're also a good real estate developer. So there's always another career for you if you don't want to stick with the library. So thanks again. And we do promise to get you your award. So. Couple of quick announcements. Rotary and the Florentine Opera are co-hosting the Quarantine Opera Book Club again this Wednesday at 5 p.m. These are great fun. I've been participating in them. There's a cocktail idea provided so that you can have something to sip. This week, the opera is Pagliacci by Leon Cavallo. If you'd like to join, email Michelle or visit the link in this morning's email. The Coffee Connectors meeting at 7:30 Thursday morning. Email Michelle to get the link. Those are also interesting. Learn how to make great coffee is one of the sessions we had. The Rotary Club in Milwaukee is again partnering with the Milwaukee Press Club and WisPolitics.com for a newsmaker luncheon on Friday, June 26th at noon. Republican Senator Ron Johnson is going to field questions from a panel of journalists moderated by Press Club President Gene Miller. Contact Michelle in the Rotary office if you'd like more information about that program. Those are also fascinating programs. Join us next week, June 23rd, as 3 Rotarians share their views and stories on racial equity, a timely topic in light of current events and given Rotary's role in the community. We felt it would be relevant and timely to have this conversation. The intent of our time is to have a conversation as a start to the continuation of our club's work on racism. We invite you to listen in as Karen Hung will moderate and contribute to the conversation with Dr. Eve Hall, who's president of the Milwaukee Urban League, and our past president, Ed Krishak. So having said that, let's go out and do some good in the world this week. Stay healthy, stay smart, and stay at home when you can. This meeting is adjourned.